even though I miss my country, I think I made a home for myself here. If I don't accept this, then this place gave me the opportunities I could dream of.
And I was just so excited about being in college and starting this new chapter of my life. And then I realized that I'm actually very lost.
We have good community here and we celebrate Diwali and Holi and all those things here.
So whenever we see that community like belonging to our country, representing our country, we feel like proud and we feel like, oh yeah, my country's here.
I think this is part of my journey here. That's what I came for, to learn about people, to make connections.
I've really adapted well with regards to living in the cold weather.
No matter, even if I was homesick, no one would ever know in my life because that's just something that you bottle up inside.
My name is Ali Milson Pomba. I am a Fulbright scholar from Angola. I'm in the Educational and Global Leadership Master's Program. I am a full-time student, and yeah, I'm having a great time in Western Michigan University, and thank you for this opportunity.
Hi guys, I'm from India and my name is Tirth Harsat Kumar Patel. I am from city called Ahmedabad in Gujarat. It's the biggest city in my state, and I'm doing the Masters in Computer Science here, and I'm almost there to graduate in next semester.
I'm Rafia, and I'm 20 years old. I am studying cybersecurity, and I'm from Bangladesh.
Hi, my name is MD Abdul Hamid. I'm a sophomore pursuing my bachelor's degree at Finance and Economics at Western Michigan University. I'm 21 years old, and I came from a country called Bahrain. It's a Middle East. And originally I'm from Bangladesh, but since all my childhood, my schooling, everything I have done in Bahrain.
My name is Muaz Khalid. I am from Pakistan. I am 27 years old, and I am an alumni at Western Michigan University.
My name is Shada Al-Khalbani. I'm 21 years old and I'm from Oman.
Okay, so my name is Helen Agbebe. I'm 27 years old. I'm from West Africa, Ghana, and studying my Master of Science in Finance, concentrating in data analytics.
Hi, I'm Rida Shahimi. I'm 19 years old. My major is cybersecurity. I have a minor in data science, and I'm from Lebanon. Although I never actually lived in Lebanon, I lived my entire life in Kuwait, which is at the Gulf in the Middle East.
My name is Paulo Zagallo, and I'm the Associate Provost for Global Education at Western Michigan University. That means that as Associate Provost for Global Education, I oversee the Haneke Institute for Global Education, which is Western's comprehensive international office. Usually they apply following either some recruitment events we do outside of the US or through partner universities with which we have transfer agreements, dual degrees, and other types of curriculum articulations. So we receive those applications and then we start looking at all the regular items that we have to check on an international student application. The mission is the same as for any student. We see international students as students coming up from a different location, but coming here with the same expectations, same goals, and deserving the same opportunities, of course.
Well, the reason I chose to study in the US is because, as I said before, my father came to the US. He studied in Madison, Wisconsin, and he knows the Midwest very well. So he was like, you should apply here. Applied to a couple. I applied to Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's a long process around it's take like 2 to 3 months for the visa and interview. If you got one biometric date in another city and you have to go for interview to another city, so it's kind of hard.
It was kind of a long process, and so one of the options I had was Western Michigan. And when I read about the program description, it was just like a perfect match. So everything I was reading about the program is something that I wanted. So educational and global leadership. So I always wanted to do something not only for my country, but that there's a global sense, because I think the world has evolved and it just become a small community, as we know. Especially if you're in the United States, you can meet people from everywhere.
I can feel that I have family here, so it just gives me a bit of relief to kind of be here. So I cannot even imagine how I would feel like if I didn't have that.
Because Western Michigan University basically like it provides all of the programs, so it has a different so many like more than 100 of the programs, so you can just pursue whatever you want and whatever passionate about which major you are.
And I was like, which school is this, Kalamazoo? Okay. So I went to the page and yeah, got to know of the Master of Science in Finance. I saw the structure or the course curriculum and I was like, oh, this is good. I mean, it's well enriched. It's kind of a blend of IT and there are various concentration. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, it's cool. So among other schools, including Western, so I sent the application. So I'll say, I mean, respect diversity and inclusion, which is highly well recognized in Western and all of that things. So coming to Western, I think my expectation has been met and I'm still enjoying and having fun with Western so far as my program is concerned. Yeah, so that's why Western and that's why America. You could just see the difference. Like I think the first time I mostly send all of my emails with please, 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 like because back home, like you see everything, please, how are you, please this, please that. And then I also saw that in here you just call people by their first name, but back home you don't do that. Like even if you're older than me a month, I'm going to say Sister Tasha or Brother Dad or this or Sir or Madam if I. But then I hear you're like, I mean, your professor, I mean, your dean say I'm this. I'm like, eh? Don't say professor or dean that or say that. Just say come. So I think that's one of the differences I saw, like comparing to back home. Back home, you dare not do that. You might receive a slap if you end up calling someone by their first name. If you don't attach, say, madam or their title, depending on the context at which you are calling them, or that would be a big problem back home.
We didn't have like a deep understanding about the cultural differences. So in one of our classes, we were like presenting our colleagues, and I think I made a compliment, like a compliment about the physical appearance, and that didn't sound well. And the professor interrupted and said that, okay, those things here in America, we need to be careful when you give compliments, especially physical appearance of a person. And yeah, it was a big blow for me. I mean, I knew I made a mistake, but it was a big blow. I mean, coming from a totally different reality.
One of the major changes was the way I dress. Back in Oman, if I were in college, I'd pay attention more to the clothes I'm wearing. Perhaps I'll be wearing something more formal or semi-formal than what I wear now for class.
I had to like leave 80% of my wardrobe back home because they were way too colorful and too out there. So people here wear like really neutral color, and like the most color thing we see here is like pastels. I personally didn't really wear that much, you know. These are like Western clothings. I usually just wear kurta and, you know, leggings and dupatta and orna. We call it orna. And like it's like shawls or something. So that's the usual clothing that we wore there. I mean, we did wear Western clothing too, but like not that much.
I would say it's major in terms of culture shock was our type of dressing. So look at me, as a typical Ghanaian, like going to school or having a school activity. Yeah, we wear this kind of thing, but as a typical Ghanaian going for an event, let's say on Sundays, like when I go to church, I can't be in this. These are for like weekly activities. But then it's like here, it's the way of life, and so all my African print dresses are in my closet waiting for the summer to wear them because it's cold and it's not wise to wear that. So in terms of dressing also that has changed, and then in terms of food wise to way vast different. But thank God for me because I still cook my Ghanaian dishes.
I think the most funniest one was having dinner at 6 p.m. I kid you not. There were many times where I missed out on dinner at the Valley Dining Center. I lived in my first year. I lived in the dorms, so it was a shock to me that every time I would go in at 8:30 and they would close down the Valley Dining and they would open up the late night carry out, and I'm like, what? How do you guys eat your dinner so early?
The earliest would have dinner is like 8 p.m., which is considered too late here in the US. So like during the school day, sometimes I'll have lunch here at noon and then have dinner by 5, even though I stay up late and my days are long. So that has been changed.
What I would say is the food. It's so dry. Oh my god. Yeah, the food here is so dry. Plus, I'm not even gonna go into seasoning.
The food culture, and especially I like spicy food and Indian food, and it's like hot spicy. So here, like, I see like I didn't get that kind of flavors and all those things here. So that's the biggest cultural thing to me here.
So yes, I would also wish we would do a better job at having more specific, more international types of food for our international students. That's something that, you know, if it would be easy to implement, that's something that I would love for Western to do.
The Americans people, they say football as not, they just don't play with the foot, they just play with the hand. So that's one cultural shock I have got now, like after realizing that they play with they play with the hand. But in our country, the football, we play with our leg.
In Bangladesh, we use bidets, and we actually, we're basically mostly Muslim majority country, so we use water to, you know, so after coming here, every single toilet had only tissue paper, and I'm not used to it, so that is the most uncomfortable situation. And I always have to carry a water bottle with me because you are not forcing me to transition to tissue paper. I'm doing what I always do. Western, please, bidets in toilets, please. Oh my god.
So I think like if we compare Kalamazoo to our home country, there's a lot of difference. So first thing is in Kalamazoo is very cold comparing to like New York or even my country. So the country where I live, it's very hot and humid. Like in night also it's very hot and humid, whereas in Kalamazoo it's very cold at night. Like you see, like the temperature changes.
It's not something back home, because back home is like a tropical region, like the way the summer is. We kind of like have the rainy season and then the sunny season, and then sometimes a bit of the cold somewhere in December.
So sometimes as an international student, what we face is like it's very uncertain to us, you know, as a beginning, as a new student, like to see snow and like snow all around. The first snowfall will be every time beautiful.
I never experienced winter in my life before coming here, and the funniest joke that I got from the students here was that, hey, you're gonna like the winter for 5 minutes, and then after that you're gonna start hating it. And that was very true because the cold was unbearable.
You not like it. It's so cold, because I came in the fall and it was a bit cold. I'm like, oh God, it's so cold. People like, it's so cold. Like, Helen, it's so cold. You not like it, dude. Like, really. And so I was all waiting for the snowing. But something like this, -2 degrees, no. So it was really difficult for me at the beginning, but you have to just adapt to it. So I think it's one thing, like, the adaptation was very quick. It's like you have no excuse. You have to go for class and you can't tell your professor that, hey, it's snowing and I can't move out of my hall. Are you kidding me?
But I learned to adapt on it. And what helped was other students who were international were going through the same thing that I was going through. So we sort of motivated each other, you know, looking at them, and they were working hard, so it made me, you know, want to work hard, be like, hey, that's okay. These are normal things you're going to learn to adapt.
So when I transferred my university from New York to Kalamazoo, so you know, like Kalamazoo is a very quiet state. It's a very, it's a quiet, but I also feel it's a safe place. But comparing to New York, since New York is a very sin city, so you will have some difference when you come here. you will feel like you're missing the downtown, the beautiful downtown. Whereas the Kalamazoo, they have downtown, but it's not that beautiful. And I think like there is a very less like nightlife in Kalamazoo. I feel like it's very boring, but it's very safe place honestly to pursue your degree, whatever degree you're doing.
So here, first things, the transportation problem for the international students, because without car or any bus service you can't go and can't explore the city nearby or area. So that's kind of weird to me, because like I'm from big city, like still we have good, like we have free transportation here in the K Metro and Kalamazoo bus service and all. So it's good. But if we want to go somewhere else, like in big cities, like if you want to go Chicago or somewhere, so we have to plan little bit, because we don't have transportation like cars or like that things.
Well, we never really had any responsibilities before coming to the US. Everything was, every other responsibility that we had in our household was my mother's responsibility or our nanny's responsibility, because a lot of cultures outside the US actually have nannies. So I never really did anything, no chores whatsoever. I came here and I realized no one's gonna do something for me, so I had to start doing them. I already knew I had to do them, so that was very easy for me. I'm sharing more responsibilities now with my sister, and it's just different than when we were back home, and she used to spend all of the time with my other sister, because sister and sister. And
So I trained myself to be smart about spending. I trained myself to pay my bills on time. I trained myself to pay my credit cards on time, keep a good credit score. So I think that was very important. And then supporting my family back home. So whatever leftovers I have for the month, I support my mother with that.
One thing when it comes to living here too is that at all means, wherever you are coming from, you just have to learn how to manage time, like scheduling, time management, get a calendar, like, but it's not something back home. Like back home, I mean, if they say the meeting is 7, okay, you see people turning in 7:30, so to avoid and be on time, if it will actually start at 8, say 6:30 or 7, so that but here is 7 is 7, 9 is 9, 1 hour we close, we are gone, because everybody, time is money.
Because the graduate programs they're really heavy, so there are so many readings, so many assignments, which is expected, and that's what I expected. Obviously, coming to America, I needed to feel something really different, and I'm feeling it. That justifies why people say that America is a great nation, is a great educational system.
I feel like I still found myself being in shock and having to adjust to some things when I came here. Experiencing or living in a individualistic culture, the way that the culture is perceived and the way that they behave as a culture and get along with each other is perhaps different than other collectivistic cultures. It was still hard to adjust to the idea that this is reality, and I kind of just have to accept it and adjust it with it.
Home, we have like a very high sense of belonging and community. So if I was home and I live at Spindler, which is my hall, I think at the end of last semester, I should know everybody in the hall. Like, but it's like here it's more of reserve, privacy. Like back home, oh come on, like, oh you are, like I know everybody by name and face, but it's like I hear everyone is keeping to themselves and stuff.
Well, I really can't tell what Americans think about my culture, because the majority, they don't really show an interest on trying to learn about cultures, apart from our professors. But in general, it's difficult. I really can't tell, because it's hardly that they will ask you deep questions about your culture, how is your lifestyle in Angola. They ask more general things like what you're studying, where you're from. It's very difficult for me to really tell what are their assumptions.
We would love to improve those opportunities for friendship in the first 3 days a student is here. 3 to 5 days. Those days are so important. So we'd love to create more and better opportunities for international students to make friends with US students, find US students they can become friends with within the first few days.
You'd find many students, including myself, whenever we're walking down the hallway, would just have our headphones on or would be on their phones. No one's really having a conversation with the person sitting next to them. I've been trying to interact with people around me more and just find those small moments where I can talk to someone and have a conversation instead of just being in my own world.
Well, I think loneliness here maybe helped me to focus a little bit more on myself. There are people that you approach and they feel a little bit reluctant to talk to you. And so you also, because of this cultural awareness, you also become a little bit skeptical about approaching people because you never know what will be the interpretation. So you become a little bit more on your space. And because in America, people respect their personal space. And so you also start protecting your personal space. So you'll be more times alone. And I think being alone maybe helped me or is helping me to look more into myself. We don't have to impress everyone. We don't have to go out and look for attention because you just look awkward. I mean, people also have their things to do. They are busy with something else. They're thinking about something else.
First 2 months, I'm a little bit homesick because of I miss everything back home, my friends, families and all, and also the food. So sometimes I feel like, okay, I'm just doing my studies, I'm just working, I'm doing my assignment, there is nothing nothing going on otherwise. That time I feel lonely. Okay, what's going on, like all those things. It's make me sometime, I'm just like I'm alone in my room for 2 to 3 days, like all the weekends, and doing nothing. So yeah.
You don't have anyone here, but later when you start your classes and when you start working, you meet a lot of people and you make friends. I think in that case, like, your loneliness goes away and you feel like more confident. Whom are you talking with? Whom are you around? You're associating with your friends and family. Your loneliness goes away.
But after first month, like I didn't feel that much because now I'm used to here. Like I like peace and quietness here, and so yeah. But first month is really hard. Yeah.
Okay, for me, no. I'm a happy pal. I'm a happy child. So yeah, I'm a happy child. I haven't, though I sometimes miss like home and our delicacies, which I make, but there's one delicacies I've not yet done. And today they bring that, oh my God, I'll pause this interview and eat it. It's the fufu. I've not made that yet, but for me, loneliness, no, I haven't. In as much as, yeah, without the fact that I've missed families, but I have never felt lonely.
My sister really had a hard time the first month she was here, but then she got used to it easily. She was missing my parents, my sister, my other sister. She got used to it very easily, but I never really was homesick or I never really missed anyone. It sounds kind of mean, but kept the connection with them and just kept on talking with them every day. So I never really missed anything to be homesick.
I think the flight here from Dhaka to here, it was from like Bangladesh to here, it was probably the most challenging thing. And I watched Barbie in my flight. So imagine that. There were a lot of mother-daughter scenes in there, right? So that was not a good idea. So yeah, whatever crying I was doing, I already did that in the flight. So I was kind of, I felt a little bit lighthearted when I landed here. Plus I had family, yay, family! Because like I was in flight for 2 days and I finally saw familiar faces, yay! So then it was not that much of a problem.
Every day I wake up, I have to go through this feeling of I don't belong here. It was hard for me to embrace the fact that I cannot go back home because of my situation.
I didn't necessarily feel lonely, I was just excited about college. I had a great support team, and I feel like I was constantly surrounded by people and I was constantly in events. So I didn't have the chance to just sit with emotions and feel something. And it started to hit me when I started my sophomore/junior year, where I realized that I know a lot of people, but I struggled to feel connected to many of them. There was a part in me that still felt that I'm just alone.
It's not good to be lonely. I mean, we're social beings. We always need someone to talk to. We always need a company. We always need just to say, hey, good morning, how are you? How is your day?
Ask for help, you know, ask for help. I think the university is a good start. I mean, they still help you transition. During transition, they offer some sort of assistance. Your friends, or if you have a big network, that makes it a lot easier settling down.
I do miss my parents, yeah, but just to be around them, but I still do talk to them. I kind of took them for granted a lot when I was a kid. Used to get away from hanging out with them to do my own things, whether it was, hanging out with my friends or playing video games. And looking back, I regret every moment. I'd honestly want to go back and spend more time with them. I've come to realize that my last year in Kuwait, where before I came here to the US, I realized what was going to happen when I left. So I tried as much as possible to spend time with my parents before I leave.
Even though I miss my country, I think I made a home for myself here. Eventually, just if I don't accept this, then this place gave me the opportunities I could dream of. Remember, you're not alone. Remember that you have people you can talk to. Please talk to your friends. If you are struggling, if you're stressed out, if you're depressed, please reach out. It gets to you. It's real. Homesickness is real. The feeling of missing out is real. And social media doesn't make it easy either, right? It's always, all the good stuff out there, and that sort of enhances the idea of missing out. So, my second most important advice is please go talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to whoever you think is important here.
Hello, I'm Conray. I am a recent graduate from Western. I graduated in December of 2023, and I'm a domestic student who is studying fine art at the Gwen Frostic School of Art here on campus. So me and 9 of my classmates at the Gwen Frostic School of Art for the class Social Sphere, we were doing a project where we had to do anything we wanted for the final project. And we decided to do a newspaper called Under the Rock. And what that is we kind of talk to students and we talk to faculty and different workers here at Western, and we try and figure out different things that are going on at campus that might be going under the radar, or essentially under the rock, as the name of the paper suggests. The purpose of this document was to, one, shed light on all these kind of issues or maybe thoughts that different workers had that the administration itself maybe didn't consider. International students are actually related to the workers of WMU pretty strongly because they make up a vast majority of the workers working at the dining halls and whatnot. Working on campus is one of the only jobs that international students have access to.
Work policy for international students depends mostly on Homeland Security immigration laws. And so students can work on campus up to 20 hours per week. That's basically what the immigration status of a student on an F1 visa allows them to do. We don't have a Western policy that conflicts with this one because that's basically what's there for international students, is working on campus. If it is off campus, it has to be connected with the and required by their actual programs. So there's some exceptions for off campus, but it has to be very closely tied to what they're doing academically.
On campus work, I say it's really good for me. Like I work almost 1 year in VDC, like Valley Dining Center.
So I work on campus with my department as a graduate assistant, and I work at the Western Writing Center as a consultant for 5 hours, and then I work at the College of Business, my college communication center, as a consultant, also communication consultant.
So the misconceptions of working on campus include, hey, if we get a job on campus, we can work a set amount of time, and then we should be able to pay off our tuition or support our tuition, and so our parents don't have to worry about it. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Unfortunately, you can only work in 20 hours a week as a student, and that's half the hours you can work in a week, and that can only get you through your daily expenses, but I would not go far as paying off tuition. So students tend to get that shock. They're like, oh, geez, what am I going to do about it now? And they get into a situation. So my advice is that please do not come in thinking you can work off your tuition, because you're going to affect not only you're going to be affected financially, but you're also going to be affecting your own education here. You're going to spend half your time working, half your time at school going to classes. How much time do you have to do homework or to sleep or to do stuff outside of school?
So as the international students working on campus you have just like minimum wages on the campus. So it's really like tough to manage your account and balance to, you have to pay rents and utility bills and all the bills, credit card bills. So you can't get enough money to survive. So that's the down part of the on-campus job.
And one thing also they are not doing well is they are not really treating the students okay, because they feel like, oh, even if you go, others will come. And I'm sorry to mention this, some friend I did a master's class, like she was having so much, like she was working at the kitchen, like with the pizza, so she was having burns, and then like, even though she complains of that, like anytime she comes, like she was like, oh, this like, they don't care, you have to keep working because like, and she has to stop. She was like, Helen, I can't, I can see I'm having burns all over me, and it's like not, and you know one thing, we just have to do it because we need the money. But even though we need the money, safety, like at least like they should treat us like employees. Yeah, we are, but then what? So I think with Western, let's recheck our pay rates for the various places, like the dining center and other places. So, and some of the supervisors also, they should give them proper training on how to communicate with the employees. But I have not worked there before, but hearing friends and like with the complaints they make, is I think Western we can do better on that. We should, if we have to take a survey, I think there has been a survey that is going around the rates, and please, if you increase, not let it increase with 50 cents or something. Let's be real. Like, even though these are students, but let's just, I'm sorry, but let's just look at it. It really hurts, seriously, even though I have not worked there before. But I always tell my friend that if I get a platform, I'm going to address this one day, and I have it today, and I'm saying it.
Our kind of message to Western is to kind of see this problem for what it is and create some answers for it. Like Western, they continuously say they're like this bastion for diversity and cultural exchange and all these other, nice words, but I want to see them actually put their foot on the ground and get some things done to show that they are this beacon for cultural exchange.
As my team would tell you, I think we can always do everything better. That's the kind of attitude I try to infuse into my team's work, is that, the last complete version for something we've implemented yesterday can now be the draft version for an improved way of doing it.
My opinion on the flagpoles being taken away is that I think it's a mistake. I think flags are a signifier for a lot of people that their homes are also here. If you see, if you're from China and you see a Chinese flag up there, then I'm not at home right now, but I can feel home because I know there's people here that see me. I think, we should bring the flagpoles back. I think they were perfect to showcase whoever wants to champion their flag and show that they're here. And now it's just, I don't know, it's just an empty brick area. It's like, I don't know.
I could come up with 10 reasons to make any system you'd like to display flags with unfair. So to some extent the decision was not ours, but I think we would always feel we were not really representing all the students fairly and correctly. I like to focus on the commonalities of humanity more than the differences. I think we should have flags reminding us that kindness is global, that love is global, that friendship is global, that these things are felt by people all over the world, that every parent around the world wants their children to be happy and healthy. These things are the things that unite us at the very core. I wish we'd have flags just reminding us of those things, because those are the reasons why I'm in international education. It's what's common between us.
I didn't realize how much I loved my home, my country, the way I was, until I came here. I realized what I missed out on. I feel like the biggest mistake a lot of us international students do is not value where we come from. Like we only see the negativity, like, oh, it's a third world country, oh, we're not in a good state, but we forget the ease of living there, the freedom, the ease of being yourself there. I'm not afraid of being who I am, and that's a huge thing. And I realized that when I came here, I said, oh no, like I have to adapt. I cannot be expressive, right?
I'll still Helen with my identity. I haven't changed, but with regards to my way of life has changed due to cultural differences and cultural shocks that have changed. But my identity still remains my identity. My values still remains my values as a Ghanaian. No matter what, the Ghanaian in me will still pop up with my values, even though I'm in a new environment. But my identity hasn't changed. I'm still me.
This might be kind of controversial, but I don't really see any problem if I have to, adapt to something. And if this makes my stay here more comfortable, I'm all in for it. So I'm not really letting go of my identity. I'm just, getting used to how things work here.
Countries like ours that were colonized, when we were kids, we always wanted to be like white people, to live like white people. But as you grow up, you start understanding that no, I don't think you need to live like someone else. I mean, what you need is opportunity to live your life, to be who you are. And I think there are many things I've adjusted, like the way I see life, understanding that the world is not only about what you know, it's also about what other people know. As identity, I just feel like I'm myself, I'm still myself.
I would say my soul did, if that makes sense. I became more of a religious person while being here, because back home I was just with all of these people that had the same religion, so it was easy talking about it. But when I came here, there's many Muslim people here, so I kind of had to find my own way.
Oftentimes when we look at people, sometimes, like as an international student, if someone were to look at me, I want people not to only see me through that lens. So I'm not just an international student. I'm many more other things, and I have many other identities. So just knowing the balance, or there is a fine line between acknowledging someone's identity and making sure that we're not overlooking that identity, but also making sure that we're not just looking at the person only through that lens.